Hello and welcome to this episode of Jacked Up Being Frank. I'm here. I'm your host, Jack Monatree, my co-host, Frank Aranio, and we will discuss about all the NFL games that have happened today and the Mets and their wild card, and same with the Red Sox and all that stuff. As the MLB gets closer to the postseason and the NFL season kicks off, and also we came off of an overtime game for the Giants, so do you want to? I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Reno to give us his thoughts on that Giants versus Cowboys game.
Yeah, so first of all, there's some technical difficulty here, so you can't see me. I'm going to try to figure it out as we go. So it's just audio with me. So the Giants game, I saw the last few minutes of the fourth quarter and then the overtime. I was watching the Jets. Most of the afternoon I was watching the Jets. But I'll just give a general synopsis. Just, a devastating loss for the Giants. I know that a lot of the good things happen, and Russell Wilson put up 450 yards or something like that. So there's a lot of pluses offensively, but man, that's a crushing loss. After they come down, scored a touchdown late in the fourth quarter, and then I tell you one thing that really stood out to me was the coverage. They allowed that pass over the middle 2 plays before the field goal to tie the game at the end of the fourth quarter. Right? I don't get how you're playing soft coverage like that, where it's an easy completion over the middle, and then Dallas ran another play, a run play, a draw play to pick up a few yards, and then kicked the 64-yard field goal. But that coverage right there, that really didn't make any sense. The Giants were in a good position there, and it's like they just gave Dallas, I guess it was like a 20-yard play, almost 20 yards. So, again, good things there. It kind of reminds me of the Jets game from last week, where you saw a lot of good things, but you still lost the game. And with the Giants' schedule, they have to win a game like that because, Dallas, I know they got some ability on the offensive side of the ball, but, Dallas is probably headed towards a down year. So for the Giants, looking at their schedule and looking at what they're facing this year, to lose that game is just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Cowboys are 100% beatable, and you saw for the whole entire game that defense was Swiss cheese. I know Deron Bland, their number one corner, was out, but still they had Trayvon Diggs covering Malik Neighbors, supposedly a great DB, but he got torched this game by Malik Neighbors. He had a great game, but it was a game you need to win. I know you can give yourself moral victories, but what he said here is that what Mr. Rania said here is that the Jets, for their thing, is that they have a lighter, well, everybody has a lighter schedule compared to the Giants in their gauntlet, but they have a schedule where they can lose a game they should have won that shows you some potential. But this Giants team, they need to win games against the Cowboys that they need to win, or they're going to end up with 2 wins in the season or 1 win on the season. Yes, they play the Cowboys again, but if you have an opportunity to punch them in the mouth in week 2 and make that Cowboys team go 0-2, and then you get yourself an easy you get the Cowboys on their heels of 0-2, but for the Giants, it was a team that needed that win because of their schedule.
And as great as
now they have to go play the Kansas City Chiefs. They might even be 0-2 with all of that. Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go?
The Giants better hope that the Chiefs win today.
Yeah.
You don't want to be facing them at 0-2. You don't want to face them regardless, but them at 0-2, forget about it. They'll come in and just destroy the Giants next Sunday night. But as well as Russell Wilson played, he again, I was watching the Jets game most of the afternoon, but he obviously played great, but he played terrible in overtime. When it mattered most, you had that backward pass that he, lost the grip of it. He was lucky to go out of bounds, and they threw that horrible interception. And it's ultimately about winning. And he's a veteran quarterback. It's not like you have a young quarterback. You say, hey, he played a great game, but under pressure, he really struggled in overtime. This is a veteran quarterback. So it's highly disappointing. That's a game they should have won, and they didn't. There's no moral victories. They didn't get it done. And now that, again, they just have this gauntlet of a schedule. Like you said, the Chiefs coming up next week. So, it's devastating for them. And if they come out of there with the victory, you're obviously feeling a lot different, after last week just playing so horribly and laying an egg week one. After a lot of people thought that they'd be competitive, I certainly thought they would, and they weren't. And you thought they would as well. But there's just no way to sugarcoat this loss. This is a game they should have won, and they didn't win it.
Yeah, I mean, because you can start counting losses after this, you go and two, and you're like, okay, you're gonna lose the Chiefs. Then, I mean, the Chargers, you could definitely lose there, and you could be 0-4 going at New Orleans.
Oh, I think they're gonna be 0-4.
Yeah,
I don't see how they're.
Yeah. I mean, as I count the losses, I'm not gonna say they could be, but they probably like 90% will be, depending on if they have a game like this again, which they won't. That's why it stinks, because you think that the Chargers and Harbaugh are gonna let them do that. You think the Chiefs? No. Because the Cowboys stink. And you know what? I'm not gonna say that because the Giants are even worse, but that's not the point. The
Cowboys are one of the worst teams on their schedule. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. The only teams worse, the Saints are worse, but that game's on the road. You don't get the Saints at home; you get them on the road. So you don't want to say you should beat the Saints, but
you should be on the road. The Giants aren't moral if you're 0-4. You should, but that's Superdome. I mean,
well, then there's going to be immense pressure to beat the Saints, because then you follow up with the Eagles, the Broncos, the Eagles again, the Niners. Then you go to the Bears. Like, you're going at the Bears. Like, I don't know.
You could win, but like you're going at the Bears, and
again, the only teams on their schedule that are weaker than the Cowboys are definitely the Saints. I don't know. Like, are the Bears? Are the Bears a lesser team than the Cowboys? I mean, there's a lot of people high on the Bears. So I'm not going to say that they're worse than the Cowboys. And then, I don't know, the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders aren't supposed to be that good, but, the Giants have a gauntlet of schedule. But outside the schedule, like, the Giants, you're hoping they'll be better this year, and they should be. But you still see where they're at. I mean, they're not a good football team, and, they're headed for a really, really tough go of it coming up. And just to lose this game after it being right there, and after the offensive production, the game that Wilson had until overtime, it's the kind of loss that could really, really stick with the team for a while, and just even not recover from it this year. Because you just keep losing game after game. It really could be a game that has a devastating impact on them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably had the most perfect game you could possibly have. Let's think about it. 37 points. Russell Wilson going for 450. I know he didn't he choked at the end, whatever you want to call it, whatever he did at the end, but that's perfect. That's as perfect. They said on the broadcast, that's perfect as the Giants could have wished for Russell Wilson after week one. They didn't win the game. Malik Neighbors went for 167, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's ridiculous. Malik Neighbors is a great player, but he probably will not do that again. And who knows if it's week 18 and the Giants
you just can't lose that game. You put up 37
points. Wandale Robinson, 142. I mean, that's a player that, like, is kind of not a whatever player that's disrespectful, but he's a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Like, that the Giants play as perfect as game as they possibly can against a bad team and lost. That's the moral of the story. They played the perfect game against a bad team and still came out and lost.
Well, I don't know if they played perfect, but I mean, on offense, I guess you could say they were close to perfect. But I think it simply comes down to this. I mean, you score 37 points, you should win a game, and then they scored late to go up 37-34. I mean, you got to close out again. That play where they played the soft coverage just allowed an easy completion over the middle, like that sticks with me. Like that was just a horrible defensive call. It just that.
Yeah, but the defense gave them a chance to like in overtime. When I don't know if it was Flott or someone else had like a great play where they made them punt the ball again. Like they had chances. The defense gave them chances in overtime to win the football game. Like, it's not like they
I'm not blaming the defense. I'm blaming the defensive coordinator for making that call.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the call to go soft coverage there.
Yeah.
That's on him. So, the defense stopped Dallas in overtime. So, there were some good things on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm blaming the defensive coordinator. It's just a terrible call. I mean, you just give him the middle. I don't remember if it was a 20-yard gain or whatever it is. But, I mean, that really cost them. And Dallas runs into the play a few more yards, and then that kicker who just has an incredible leg,
Yeah.
64 yards, and he hits it easily.
Yeah.
Devastating. I think there's no way around it. I just think for the Giants, I mean, it's just really going to haunt them. Next week is just they're running into a really difficult situation. They better hope the Chiefs win today because Chiefs coming 0-2. That's going to be even worse.
Yeah,
but I think they're up against it anyway. Like the Chiefs is like they're not beating the Chiefs.
No,
I don't see them being competitive against the Chiefs either.
No, I don't see them being competitive against the Chiefs. But I mean, yeah, you definitely would rather be 1-1 going into going against Kansas City. But I guess you have your home opener, but you're 0-2 already, and like Russell Wilson's not throwing for 450 yards again. Like he's just not doing that. So what?
Well, that's the thing. You get that sort of performance from him, and you don't win the game. Like that just can't. And it's demoralizing. It's you can't ask for more. Again, in overtime, he was terrible, but the game should have been over. Like they should have won it in regulation.
Yeah, they should have won it in regulation. When you go back and 42 seconds left and you throw that bomb to the Malik Neighbors, that should be it. Like there's 19 seconds on the clock or whatever. Dak Prescott's not Josh Allen. So there should be no reason why.
Well, I wonder what you were thinking at that time. Like after the Giants scored, I said to myself, and I was talking to some buddies in a chat, and I thought it, and as soon as I thought it, they texted the same thing. They said, this game's far from over. I thought the same thing. It's like, this game is far from over. Dallas had all three of their timeouts. That kicker has a big leg. It's like, I kind of thought Dallas was going to come down and kick a field goal. But, but from the Giants' end, like, you can't allow that. And again, the way they allowed it with that soft coverage, it's just indefensible and inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, 32 seconds left. Dak Prescott gets Aubrey in whatever field goal range he's comfortable with. I mean, he's ridiculous, but that's besides the point. You think when Neighbors catches the ball, you don't think it's over, but you're like, I mean, I did think I was happy that the Giants could have lost easily. I mean, it's like you had one timeout, 41 seconds left. Like you could have been like, oh, this is it. Like Russell Wilson came back down to earth. He has 41 seconds to work with. I mean, the O-line is gonna stink again. I mean, they're tired and everything. Like they might get a sack or you. I thought it was over. I was just happy that the Giants did it because I thought they were definitely gonna lose. But they came down.
What, though? I think this about the Giants. I think this even more so about the Jets. But the Giants used to be a good franchise, but it's been a long time since they've been a good franchise. They've been a bad franchise pretty much since they won their last Super Bowl 14 years ago. So the Giants don't deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore. I mean, they're a bad franchise. I don't know if they have they don't have a toxic culture, but like they're a bad franchise. They're not a good team. You're hoping they're going to be better this year, but you just expect the Giants to lose. And the Jets are like that, and even more so. So the Jets, going back to week one, like it's kind of similar to the Giants. Like the Jets, they say, oh, they did all these good things, this and that. Justin Fields, but it's like you still lost the game. And bad teams, bad franchises, when you don't have the right culture and just, again, like you're just a bad franchise and you've been one for a long time. You lose. Like, you just lose those games. So the Jets, it's like, okay, you got beat on a 60-yard field goal, 61-yard field goal. The Cowboys kicked a 64-yarder. So it's like, oh, you can say, oh, it's kind of bad luck. But no, like, guys make those kicks these days. Like, the 60-plus yard field goals are now part of football. So you know what? You lost the game. So it's still about winning and losing. And I just think it shows with these two teams. Like, they're just losing teams. They're losing franchises. And the Giants, again, like when we were talking about them before the season started, I was like, you know what? I think they're gonna get this thing on track this year. You're gonna see growth. But I don't know, man. I mean, they were terrible last week, and then this week to lose like this, to waste that effort from Wilson in the offense, like it's just they're not in a good spot.
Yeah, it's not a good spot, and
And it's like you got Russell Wilson on the team because Dart's not ready. You got a veteran, try to help win some games, have a respectable season, and then you still don't win on a day where you get a great performance from him through 4 quarters. Like, it's just bad. Like, it's just that's what losing teams do. And now, honestly, my mindset of the Giants has changed. Like, we made our predictions. I was like way up there missing. Like, oh, they'll find a way to win 6 games even with the schedule. I'm backing off of it. Like, I think this thing is going to wind up being like a 3-4 win season. I just to lay an egg in opening day and to give this one away at Dallas, a team that gives games away in all sorts of ways. You can't trust them. It's a disaster for the Giants.
Yeah, it is a disaster, and it's you could say the 64-yard kick is bad luck, but that's Aubrey. Ran Aubrey
Yeah, it's part of
has
the
a
game
freaking
now.
amazing leg, and you have to know that if you're coaching. Like,
It's
you
part
can't
of the
be
game now. You got guys that make these big kicks. It's just that's now football now. So 60+ yard kicks are in play.
and you can't just let them even have a chance to do that. It's like letting a team have a chance to make a half-court shot to win the game. Like, you don't even give them the chance to even kick the field goal or take that half-court shot.
And
You
you
make
see
sure they
how
don't get a
big,
shot off.
yeah, you see how big turnovers are in football. So Wilson played a great 4 quarters, but then he could have turned it over twice in overtime. He throws that backwards pass, slipped out of his hand, but still inexcusable. And lucky goes out of bounds. And then he throws that pick, which is inexcusable. That's on him. So it's like, the turnovers turnovers, and particularly in crucial situations like that, that's so big in football. The Jets last week with the fumble on the kickoff return, like that's a crucial turnover. So it's like you can say all these good things happen, but you have to protect the football. So bad teams don't protect the football.
Yeah, bad teams like the Giants or Jets make bad decisions. Like, I mean, that was basically an arm pump, but you still cannot make that play. You got to go through your progression. You can't just throw it out to Malik Neighbors when he's double covered. Like, you don't think that they think that Malik Neighbors is going to get the ball? Like, you have to go to someone else. Go to Wan'Dale Robinson. Go to someone else. You can't just throw it up there. And I mean, their mood balls were great all day long, but you can't live with that, especially if they have a half a brain cell. If that defense has half a brain cell, they're going to want to take it away on whatever that was. Was that 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 16? Whatever that was, they're gonna take that away. So I mean, that was just bad decision making and basically an arm punt.
Yeah, I look. I'll be interested to hear what the takes are from the people, fans in general, but people in the media. Like, are you going to get? I'm sure there's going to be people who take it to, the Giants. They showed a lot today. Devastating loss, but they really showed a lot. I'm just not in that camp. You have to win games that are winnable, and you have to win them when you're in a position to close the game out. Like, it just. I don't want to say you throw out the window what they did on offense today, but you kind of can. It's like in the NFL today, you get quarterbacks putting up big numbers all the time. It's like, okay, you threw for 450. Yeah, it's a lot of yards even for today's NFL, but guys and teams are putting up big yards all the time. It's basically like 7-on-7 football. So, like, am I really going to get that excited that they did that? I'm sorry. Like, I'm just not. And you didn't win the game. So it's still about winning and losing. And again, like, maybe it's different if Dart was the quarterback today, and
Yeah, Dart's the quarterback.
but like you're playing with a very experienced guy, a Super Bowl winning guy, one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. Like, it's just there's no moral victory here. There's just not.
Yeah, and I can't. I was just bad, and there should be, because the Giants had opportunities to win that game in overtime. The defense gave them enough chances, and the defense was tired, and they gave him enough chances to get back in overtime. And for Wilson, so you can basically throw out whatever he had, because he could have just had one more drive to get into Graham Gano's range and give him a chance to kick a field goal. But no, he just throws the ball behind himself, and he throws a pick. Like, that just is not, like, If this game happens with Jackson Dart, it's like, okay, young rookie in that in Dallas where they get crazy. It's overtime. Like maybe he makes up two mistakes, but he's still like look at his stat line. But this guy's Russell Wilson. He's proven himself. He's proven that he can handle the pressure because he's done it before, and he just crumbles for no reason at all. Since he's been there, done that. That's why the Giants bring him in for moments like this. Screw throw it everything else.
Exactly. He was brought in to win games like this, and he played great for most of the day, but he didn't get it done, and they didn't get it done when they needed to. They lost the game. So it's still about winning and losing, even for a team like the Giants in their situation. Like, they're not going anywhere this year. They have no chance to playoffs. Like, obviously they don't now, but they didn't come into the year. You knew that, but it's just you can't say it's worse than getting blown out again. Like, it's not. Like, if they lost today 27-3, I mean, that's a lot worse than this. But this really stings. Like, to me, like, this is the kind of thing that can demoralize a team. I mean, they're professionals, and you hope they just persevere, move forward, practice this upcoming week, get ready for the next game. But human nature kicks in. I just think a loss like this for a team that's facing the situation they are with this gauntlet of schedule and just who they are, like how, where the Giants are at, and they've been a losing franchise for a long time now. Like, this is just this type of loss like that really, to me, can derail a team. We'll see what they're made of, but I just really think this loss is going to linger.
He had 2 shots to get in the field goal range and couldn't do it once. I mean, it's not even like they're asking for a touchdown since they deferred the football. I mean, since he deferred the football, they got 2 shots at, basically just kicking a field goal to win the game and couldn't get it down the field goal range 2 times. I mean, if you would have thought, the Giants would have won the game, especially with all the stats and stuff, but they just couldn't do it. And that's surprising because it's Russell Wilson. Like, it's not like, oh, it's Caleb Williams or Bryce Young or Cam Ward. It's Russell Wilson. Or even Justin Fields. Let's give the Jets an example. Justin Fields, like, it's not. I don't know if Justin Fields might be older than
Well, Justin Fields is young. What is he, 26?
Yeah.
Like, he's a young guy. I mean, you have the veteran quarterback, the Super Bowl winning quarterback in there for a reason. You're trying, the young guy Dart's not ready yet. You want to develop him, but then you have Russell Wilson in here to try to win some games here. Like, try to make this team respectable this year, where they're not going 3-14 or 4-13. But honestly, Jack, looking at them these first 2 games, I think that's where they're headed. You play a disastrous game in week 1, and then this week, you just give the game away. That's what they did. They gave it away. It's just it's a tough situation. It's just the Giants, again, like, they're a franchise, used to be a good franchise, won 4 Super Bowls, and they have a good history there. But this is a different franchise now. Like, they have a losing culture. And look, I've said good things about Dable, and I'm not giving up on him. But
yeah, because they ran it. I'm not going to give up on the offense coordinator either. I mean, they ran a well-oiled offense. I mean, yes, the Cowboys stink and they were losing their number 1 corner, but that offense was well-oiled. Like it was well-oiled, and you look at the O-line that they have. Like, there's a lot of stuff that the Giants didn't have, and they still put up 237 points. But that's why I'm not giving up on the coordinators offensively, but the defense was just, I mean, I don't know. It's just that.
Yeah, I don't know. Does that come in and hurt you because you have a head coach that's an offensive coach?
No, so defense coordinator.
I don't know.
That's what it is. I mean, it's the defense.
Yeah, the NFL these days, like, the teams like going with offensive-minded head coaches. Look, and again, I'm a Dable fan until further notice. But I've just disagreed with that in the NFL, where it's gone like these teams go more and more with offensive-minded NFL head coaches. I get it; it's an offensive game now, but I don't know. I think there's downside to that as well, because you still need you still
I
need to
think
value defense. So I don't know. I get it to a point, but then part of me says part of me says like it's just gone too much in it's too much in the direction of offense, and then in terms of the coaching, that defensive coaching isn't valued as much. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, if this answers your question, they have people that run offense and defense. So it's not Dable doesn't run the offense anymore. Mike Kafka runs the offense, and they have Shane Bowen runs the defense. But it's just like,
yeah, but still, the head coach is in charge, is the leader, is the ultimate decision maker, and I just again like the league, it's they want to go with offensive minded head coaches, but I do think there's a downside to that. So, again, I don't want to blame Dable here, and he has his defensive coordinator making the calls, but like it still falls on him. Like he's responsible for those coordinators. He hired them. And again, like that call there, that soft coverage was just
I'm looking at it right now. I mean,
absolutely inexcusable.
They just let Ferg just sit down and just like get right in the middle. Like they had 3 people. They at least had 3 people around them, but Ferg just sat right in the middle of that, and just Dak Prescott threw it on a dime to him. But that was just too much space. Like Ferguson could just like
it's one thing if it was in an era of football where like nobody's making a 64-yard field goal. Like, okay, you're playing soft coverage there. You're in good shape. Time's winding down. You're going to keep him out of field goal range. But the game today, like you can't do that. That pass right there, like just about puts them in field goal range.
Yeah, they just let Ferguson sit down, which is probably what he's best at. I mean, he's a big body tight end. I mean, this guy is what Dak's going to look for. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's great and all, but he's going to look for the big body tight end to get in the middle of the field. That's what they do. And just they couldn't even account for him.
It's just easy pickings for Dallas.
Yeah, George Pickens.
Yeah, George Pickens. No pun intended.
But yeah, I mean, even that play with George Pickens, they just, I mean, that play to get him in the field goal range, and also the Dak Prescott runs like just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. CeeDee Lamb is also open. Plus, like you're watching the replay, and CeeDee Lamb's open on a route going to the middle of the field, but Dak Prescott's like, you know what? I don't want to pass CeeDee Lamb. I just want to take off myself and get an open lane. Like that defense was Swiss cheese, and there should be no reason it should be. Like with the way the Giants, with the way the Giants front office built this team, is the defense should not be Swiss cheese. So, I mean, it's just that's one of my things that I'm really confused about is that it was just if the Cowboys wanted to score, they had some plays in overtime. I think they were just tired and they just couldn't really. The Giants played well in overtime defensively, but 40 points, just like they could walk down and score. I mean, the Giants were just playing good football, but then the Dallas Cowboys just walked down on this defense. The defense should not be walked downable. I know the corners aren't the greatest, but like there should be pressure a lot more.
Yeah, it just.
I mean, it's the Cowboys too. I mean, you're gonna be I know the Cowboys got better on the offensive side. Like they have Tyler Smith to block, and they have a lot of good O-line. I mean, they have good O-line, but they also their wide receivers. They got George Pickens. But this is not the best offense you're gonna play. Like this really isn't. Like I mean, the Chiefs you play next, and then you play the Chargers. And their run game and how they can get Ladd McConkey involved with that run game, and they have some wide receivers. Like you're gonna play offensive like powerhouses. I mean, you play the Eagles as much as you play the Cowboys. So, and if you can't stop the Cowboys, then what are you gonna do about the Eagles?
Yeah,
it's not like we're supposed to beat the Eagles, but like you know what I mean. Like it's gonna be a slaughter if they're gonna play against a team that has talent offensively. Because the Cowboys aren't like the top echelon as I think in talent offensively. Like the run game, Javonte Williams played good today, but he's not like the best running back you'll face at all.
Yeah, well, the Giants are going to have an even bigger test defensively next week.
Yeah. I mean, who knows with Kelsey? They don't have Worthy, but it's still a test, big test because it's the Chiefs. But
Yeah, it's the Chiefs. That's all I'm going to say. It's the
yeah,
Chiefs. So it's going
yeah,
to be even more of a challenge. Even significantly more of a challenge going up against Kansas City, which they are leading the Eagles 10-7 late in the first half. So that'll be interesting to follow the rest of that game. You want to touch on the Jets, or you want to go talk about the New York Mets, who've been another disaster?
maybe you talk about the Jets because we kind of missed their first game where they kind of pulled what the Giants did. I mean, we kind of talked about that with the Jets pulling like kind of what the Giants did, where like they kind of tease your fans, but they still at the end of the day are going to lose with the Garrett Wilson, Jalen Ramsey play where Jalen Ramsey is ridiculous. But um, they lose that. It was a big, not Russell, Aaron Rodgers versus Justin Fields was a great QB matchup. You never think that in 2025, but it was. It was a great QB matchup. But but at the end of the day, as we say, the Jets came out with the victory. But I mean, not Jets, but the Steelers came out with the victory. And you're thinking as the Jets, like, we could take the moral victory. It's only week 1, but how many games are we really going to get like this? Because, like, you look today, I mean, you play the Buffalo Bills, but Justin Fields didn't look good at all.
Today was an absolute
Yeah.
disaster. I mean,
Like,
today all around was just an absolute disaster.
and that makes and I think it's going to be like the Giants next week, where it's going to be like we should have won that last game because now I'm not wishing that Russell Wilson is not gonna predict it, but Russell Wilson could have a bad game, and we're going to be looking back like,
Yeah,
when
definitely.
Russell Wilson had that great game, we should have won that game even more. That's what you're going to look at today, where Justin Fields doesn't play as well at all as he did last game, and you're looking at that game like we should have definitely beat the Steelers. Because look at us today, we're getting absolutely shelled by Josh Allen and the Bills, which we expect, but look at the performance by Justin Fields, and look at the performance he did last time.
Yeah, I mean the Jets. Look, there were a lot of good things week 1. I don't think there's nobody who had it being a high-scoring game like that, 34-32. But again, when it comes down to it, they didn't get it done. The big turnover on a kickoff, the defense, not coming through in big situations. So you get this great offensive performance, a great performance in field. You saw really good things in the pass game, the run game, but you still lost the game. And, Pittsburgh comes down, kicks that field goal. And again, it's just losing teams find ways to lose, and then the Jets then follow up this week and just, laid an absolute egg. I mean, everything went wrong today. And it's against Buffalo, who's the class of the AFC East and has been now for the last 6 years, right? They've won the division 5 years in a row. They're going to win it again this year, easily running away. So you get to measure yourself against the best team in the division by far, and one of those 3 elite teams in the AFC, and obviously those teams are elite in all of football. With the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. So you just see how far the Jets have to go. Like, they're not even in the same stratosphere as Buffalo. Last year they played Buffalo well at home. It was a close game, very close game. They lost by 3. That was the game after they fired Saleh. And this year at home against Buffalo, they just absolutely get blitzed. Non-competitive, absolutely non-competitive game. I'm sure they'll go to Buffalo later in the year. I forget what it is. They'll get crushed up there. I think they got crushed up there last year. They got beat pretty bad. So it just shows you, it shows you how far away the Jets are from the class of the NFL. And then the Jets, it's not even the class of the NFL. It's overall just how far away they are. They go to Tampa Bay next week. I mean, that's going to be a very tough game for them.
Tampa Bay's really good, yeah.
Tampa Bay's very good. Look, they're not as good as Buffalo, but they're a very good team. They're a perennial playoff team now. Baker Mayfield, and that's just the Jets. Could they hang in there and be competitive? I mean, I hope so. I hope they will be, but that's a tall order. So the Jets are facing 0-3 as well. I mean, their schedule is not nearly the Giants. It softens up a bit after that. But for both these teams, Jack, it's just that it's same old with them. It's it's tough to be optimistic. Like where is it going? And the Jets, it's new head coach. We'll see what he does. Like I think there's a lot of potential there with Aaron Glenn, but he has a really tall order. So just both the Jets and Giants, it's 0-2. It's going to be another year, no playoffs, not even close. So it's, as a fan, if you're a fan of either of these teams, it's very tough to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're franchises that have been losing franchises for a long time now. So I don't know. I mean, you could break down the positives, but both of them lost games that were right there for them. And both of them had awful performances in their other game. Just flip it. Giants, it was awful week 1, heartbreaker week 2. Jets was heartbreaker week 1, awful week 2.
And also, both teams' fans are going to try to make it like it's a moral victory, where it really isn't.
Well, I don't know if all the fans were, like some
Well,
will.
no, I mean most, like half of the fans are going to be saying it could be a moral victory. But that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing about that games like this is that fans are going to think it's a moral victory, but you're going to be looking back at it. Like in hindsight, you're going to be looking back at it like we should have won this game.
Yeah, and the Jets may be a little different with their game versus the Steelers because I guess there was some people saying they pulled the upset, but pretty much it was almost a consensus that people thought Pittsburgh would win. Where with the Giants, I think it was more. I guess most people thought the Cowboys would win the game, but I don't know. Like I thought going into today's Giants game, it's like this should be a really competitive game. Like I had more hope for the Giants going into their game today than I did for the Jets going into the Steelers game. That's not an excuse for the Jets. But I guess with the Jets, you could say, like, nobody thought they were going to win that game, or very few people, and they were right there. With the Giants, like, I don't know. I looked at this game today, even after last week, we're like, all right, they should be right there with the Cowboys. But either way, like, both teams, I don't buy the moral victory thing. I think it's a case of losing teams finding ways to lose games.
Yeah, it was 2 losing teams and 2 teams that show that they can show that they will closely play games early in the season that will come back and haunt them later.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the Giants, they have the young quarterback that you could get either excited about or anticipate him at some point, whenever that is, coming and playing. But for the Jets, it's like, all right, you got the stopgap quarterback in Justin Fields, and we know that quarterback is the most important position probably in all sports. So for both of these teams, it's just, to me, it's like it's glim. It's just I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's trying to be objective about it. Look at where these franchises, these teams are at. Like it's just they're in a very difficult situation, and I think they're both looking at very rough seasons.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants, especially with their schedule, but I think the Jets are too.
Even the Jets, like I said, 8-9. Like I think I was optimistic with both of them before the year. I'm like, all right, they'll make progress, but I like the Giants. I'm backing off 6-11, and then the Jets, I think I'm backing off 8-9. It's like just watching that today. It's like you weren't even competitive against your division rival at home. Like it's just like that's, to me, that's just a losing team. Like you're gonna be a 5-6 win team.
Yeah,
and the Jets would be a 3-4 win team if they had the Giants schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, the Jets are just like they get the stopgap in Justin Fields, who looks pretty good in week 1, and today, I mean, I don't know what happened to him. I wasn't really did he get banged up a little bit? He had
he was knocked out of the game and went
not to give him an excuse, but like, you know what I mean. I'm just
he got knocked out at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
He went to the blue tent. They took him in. I haven't heard the official word, but they were checking him for a concussion. He didn't officially have one, but yeah, he didn't play well. It was
Giants
the opposite of last week. But that's who he is. Like he's gonna have his good games, his bad games. That's just who he is. That's he shows signs, and he clearly has the athletic ability, and he could put together really good performances But then you get good performances like this. But it's not all on him. Like the Jets just across the board were absolutely non-competitive today.
Yeah, they were not competitive. But you want to get into some baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting in baseball now. I mean, it's there's a lot to talk about there. I mean, the Mets, who have been just brutal, they lost 8 in a row coming into today. 2 against Cincy, 4 against Philly, and then the first 2 against Texas. But they needed that one today. Alonso, the walk-off in 10 innings. So what do you think they're at, Jack? I mean, they're very fortunate that they have teams behind them that really don't want to seize the playoff spot and aren't there that good themselves. So, I mean, where are you at with the Mets now?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, the teams that are behind them, the Giants sold to them. They sold them Tyler Rogers. I mean, these are teams behind them that really like are surprised. Even the surprise probably in house they are there. I mean, the Mets are just they were in hell right now. I mean, they were in hell. The bullpen I mean, everything around. I can't really pick part one thing that stinks. I mean, it's been bad. At least Juan Soto's been playing well, but I mean that's not at least. I mean, he's gonna play well, and that's just like the team really. I mean, is railing. It's unraveling, and
yeah. And even today they were up 2-0, and I didn't watch the game. I was tracking it again. I was watching the Jets for most of the afternoon, but they were up 2-0, and they gave the lead up, and then again they wind up with the walk-off in extra innings. And I'm looking at the schedule, but honestly, Jack, with the Mets, like schedule matters. Like it never doesn't matter at all. But like for the Mets, it doesn't even matter who they're playing right now. Like they stink. So it's like they play San Diego coming up at home. San Diego's a lot better than them. Then they host the Nationals, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals on the road in August. So it's like, all right, it's like, oh, they should beat the Nationals, but you can't even think like that because they're so bad. They've been so bad that it's like they're one of the bad teams. And then they go to the Cubs the next week. They're at Wrigley. That's going to be very tough. And they finish at Miami, who just beat them 3 out of 4 in the series a couple weekends ago at Citi Field, and it was embarrassing. The Mets won the first game, and then it was just embarrassing the rest of that weekend. So, I mean, they're probably still going to get in, but it's only because of the competition. Like, I don't have any faith that the Giants or the Reds are going to go seize that spot.
Yeah, especially I think the Giants have been on a big time winning streak for these last 2 games where they're getting crushed right now. Currently 6-1 by the Dodgers, and the last game they lost as well. But I mean, the Giants have been on a real winning streak, and they've been getting hot at the right time. So,
I mean, the Giants are going to lose today. I mean, barring some miracle. So the Giants will be 75 and 74. Take the Reds out of it. The Reds are not going to make it. They're losing to the A's again. Last I checked that score. So take them out of the equation.
Yes, it's 3-4 at the. It's 3-4 Athletics in the bottom of 6. I mean, it's not over, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go to the standings. So currently the Mets are they're a game ahead of the Giants, and they're 2 games ahead of the Reds. So they're tied in the loss column with the Giants. But let's say the Giants lose. So, again, I'm going to take the Reds out of the equation. They're not making the playoffs. Mets are 77 and 73. The Giants are going to be 75 and 74. So that's a game and a half, 1 in the loss column. I mean, look, the Mets could make the playoffs. They could make it, but I'm saying they could miss the playoffs. Like, they've been that bad. But, like, with the Giants, I'm looking at the Giants' schedule. So they're going on the road this week. So the Giants have it tough this week. They go to Arizona, who's okay. The Giants just beat Arizona 2 out of 3 this week. So they go there, then they go to the Dodgers for 4. So this is a tough week for the Giants. But then the Giants have a pretty favorable week to close the season. I mean, they got St. Louis at home. St. Louis is not terrible, but they're not good. and then they got Colorado to end the season. So for the Giants have to sweep Colorado. So let's play this out. Let's say the Giants sweep Colorado. All right. Let's say they win 2 out of 3 against St. Louis. So that's in the last week. Say they go 5-1. Let's say, I don't know. I mean, like let's play like the Giants' best case scenario. All right.
Yeah.
Get 5-1 in the last week, and then let's say 4-3. Like I think 4-3 would be a good week for them with Arizona and the Dodgers on the road. So 4-3 plus 5-1 is 9-4. Do I think the Giants are going to go 9-4? I'm going to say no. I just don't trust them. But let's say they do. If they go 9-4, that means that they they would finish 84-78. So the Mets, and I believe the Mets have the tiebreaker over the Giants. So the Mets would have to go 7-5 to tie the Giants in that scenario.
You'd have to have a winning record in these next.
So again, I don't know if the Giants are winning 84 games. Again, like I tend to think they won't. But even let's say the Giants win 83 games. Say the Giants.
Yeah, but then the Mets will have to have a winning record in these next few games.
Yeah, the Mets would have to go. They'd have to go 7-6 to win 83 games. Like, if they do, are they going to do that?
I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have to like really beat up on and they're gonna really have to take care of business. I mean, this again, this team that yes, they could be. You could be like, oh, the Mets are a bad team, but at this point, they're in a playoff. They're in a playoff run. I mean, they need to make the playoffs, and they're going to play a team like the Washington Nationals. This is a game. This is a game. This is a take care of business type series still for them.
I'm just, and it's interesting because the Mets. I don't know if you know this, because what year were you born?
2009.
You weren't alive. So do you know about the Mets collapses in 07 and 08?
No.
So they really collapsed in 07. And then in 08, like, wasn't a collapse, but like I'll say like they gave up a playoff spot, to put it mildly. But both of those seasons, they lost the last game of the season to miss the playoffs. And both seasons, they lost to the Marlins on the last day. Now, those games are at home. They finished with the Marlins this year. So, like, that just popped in my mind. Like, I could just see the Mets missing the playoffs and another disaster against the Marlins to end the season. Like, I know 07, 08 is a long time ago. You weren't even born. But that would just be such a Mets thing to happen.
It would be. And the Marlins are 70 and 80. Like, they're not – well, they're a team that isn't good, but they're 78. Like, if the Mets have a bad game, best believe
the Marlins started the year terribly, but they've been a decent team. I don't know, the last 3 months or so. Like, the Marlins have been a better team than the Mets the last 3 months of the season. I don't even think it's close. So that's, again, you look at the schedule. You can't say schedule. Like, again, they play the Padres and the Cubs, who are both good teams, and then Washington and Miami. But it's like the Mets are not in a position where they can say, oh, we have an easy team on the schedule, because they're as bad as anybody right now.
Yeah. But that still should be a take care of business series, because you're still in a playoff scenario where they're both in a pack up and let's get ready for Cancun type scenario. Like, but
yeah, I mean, look, they're probably still going to make the playoffs, but it has nothing to do with them. It's just the competition. Like, I know the Giants have been on a roll, but I don't see the Giants doing enough to make it. But again, if the Giants get to 83 wins, like, for them, that's after today, that's 7-6. Right? 7-6.
The Mets still control their own destiny. And they've been playing so bad. So that's what it is.
No, I'm sorry. For the Giants, that'd be 8. Say they lose today, it'd be 8-5 to get to 83. I don't know. The Giants going 8-5. I mean, maybe, so, man, if the Mets miss the playoffs here, I mean, that's another epic disaster for them.
Yeah. And the Giants could definitely, because they're in a momentum. Like maybe losing the Dodgers twice could kill the momentum, but again, I mean, it's still the Dodgers, and maybe they could just bounce right back up off the mat if they lose to the Dodgers because the Dodgers is that good that you know what.
Yeah, problem is they do play the Dodgers for 4 in Los Angeles next weekend, so they're gonna the Giants are gonna have to at least get 2 out of 3 in Arizona. And then they're going to have to clean up that last week. The Giants have to go 5-1 that last week. It's like I said, they go 5-1, 2 out of 3 against Arizona. That's 7-2. So then say they go 7-2, say they go 1-3 against the Dodgers. That gets them to 8-5. So 8-5, that would be 83 wins. The Mets would have to go 7-6 to get to 83. But are the Mets getting to 83?
I don't know. I didn't even have to trust. I didn't even have to really rely on the Giants just stinking, but I don't think they will because I think they're on momentum. Like I really think the Giants team is riding the momentum at the right time, and the Mets are going to pick up some wins if they really want to get a playoff spot. Because I think yes, they're playing good. The Diamondbacks and the Dodgers could definitely beat them, but like I could definitely see the Giants riding this momentum into sneaking into a playoff spot.
Yeah, I tell you, it's tough to
yeah,
make
but
a prediction.
I
don't believe in either team, and I definitely don't believe in the Reds. Man, it's going to be whoever stinks less for the next 2 weeks. But let me ask you this, like if the Mets make the playoffs, which I'm going to say they do, I'm going to say they sneak in. I'm going to say they sneak in. If they make it, do you have any hope that something clicks? And
wait, who would play the Dodgers?
It would probably be the Dodgers.
No, I mean it depends on how this last few weeks go. If the Mets kind of like wake up, then probably not. The way they've been playing and going in this playoff, you probably have the opposite of like whatever happened last year. You have the opposite of that. You're going into the playoffs with no momentum. Even if it is the same thing where you snuck into it like you did last year, but still, it's the opposite. You have no momentum. And that's the momentum really fueled that run for the Mets, 100%. So you're looking at a run where you're trying to make a run in the playoffs where you have no momentum, like that. You're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. So, and you're running into a team like the Dodgers. I think that's a no. I don't really have hope. I'd love to.
Yeah, it's tough to have hope. But in baseball, if you could get in, you really just never know. I mean, facing the Dodgers in Los Angeles is an extremely tall task. That's just such an unfavorable matchup. I mean, they'd be better off playing the Brewers or the Phillies, but the Brewers or the Phillies are getting a bye. I don't think the Dodgers are chasing the Phillies. So it looks very bleak, but I mean, you'd rather make the playoffs than not make it, obviously. So if you could get in, look, if their bats, their main guys particularly get hot, somehow the pitching is respectable. I don't know. It's a very tall task, but this race is just a battle of teams that don't want to get in the playoffs, that are just doing everything they can to not make it, but one of them has to make it.
Yeah, with that last spot, one of them has to get in, and it's gonna be, as you said, who stinks less, and it's not gonna be. I mean, it's not gonna be a walk-in for the Mets because they've stunk, and they could continue to stink.
Yeah, I mean, look, right
this point, the Mets have stinked a lot, and now they can stink again.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember the stats. I've heard it several times. They were 45-24. They look great. So they're 32-49 since then. So 32 and 49, that's 81 games. That's half a baseball season. So if you just double that, 32 times 2, 64, that's a 64-win team, over the course of 162. So they've been a terrible baseball team the last 81 games. But you know what? I mean, teams have turned things around in the playoffs. It's happened before. I remember the 2000 Yankees I always think of, like they finished the season really terribly, a terrible September. And then, that was such a different team, though. I mean, they had come off 3 out of 4 world championships, like way different thing than this Mets team. But, but still, you get in, you just never know. But it looks really, really bleak. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see which one of these. If you want to throw the Reds in there, which one of these 3 teams stinks less in the last 2 weeks to get the last spot?
Yeah, and the Mets also have
League.
The Mets are right now they're in front, and and they'll probably out of those 3 the favorite to get in. But what's really the favorite to get in? Like, what does that really matter?
Yeah, MLB Fangraphs gives them a 75% chance to make it. Take that for what it's worth. I check that stuff out sometimes. It's not foolproof, but I think it kind of makes sense. It's just because somebody's got to make it. It has nothing to do with the Mets. It's just the competition is not any good. How about Red Sox Yankees tonight? That's a big game. Yankees got crushed by the Tigers on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they crushed the Tigers on Thursday. And the Yankees have looked good in these first 2 in Boston. They've won the 2 games. They're in a good position with the first wild card. I don't think the division's in play anymore. Yankees are 3.5 back of Toronto, 3 in a loss column. I think Toronto has the division locked up. Toronto has a tiebreaker over both New York and Boston. So, the Yankees don't play Toronto anymore. So I don't think the Yankees are playing for the division anymore, but the Yankees are in a good spot for the first wild card. If the Yankees could win tonight, then I think they have the first wild card locked up. And that's huge because then they'll be home in the wild card round. They'll host the best of 3 series against whoever it is they play, which is going to be pretty open. If you look at the American League standings, it's changed a lot in the last, I guess, week or so. So right now, again, the Yankees are the first wild card. The Red Sox are the second wild card right now. Yankees are 2.5 ahead of Boston. So again, the Yankees win tonight. I think they have the first wild card locked up. Red Sox win, it's still in play because the Red Sox would be a 1.5 games behind New York, and the Red Sox have the tiebreaker over the Yankees. But then you got Houston is actually the third wild card now. They lost today, so they're a 0.5 game behind Seattle, who currently holds a division lead in the West. Houston's a 0.5 game behind the Red Sox, and then Texas is 2 behind Houston. Cleveland is 2.5 behind Houston. So Texas and Cleveland are the outside looking in, but they're still in play. Like, they got a shot at a wild card. So it's gotten interesting. Like, the Red Sox had, I think, a 6-game cushion in terms of making the playoffs, and that's down to 2.5. So this is a big, big game in Boston tonight. It's big for everybody involved. It's big for the 2 teams playing, but it's big for Houston, Texas, and Cleveland, and Seattle.
Yeah, it's big if Boston can get this win. But, New York is also playing for stuff too, so it's not like this is just Boston. But
yeah, Crochet pitches for the Red Sox. Warren had a really good outing in Oakland. He bounced back from a bad outing against Cleveland. So he's great. He's probably going to finish second in the Cy Young School Bowl, but he's a great pitcher. He's a stud. He's a real horse, a real ace. So he's the right guy in the mound for the Red Sox. So there's pressure on the Red Sox to win this game. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not worried about it right now, but I'll feel a lot better if they win tonight. If they win tonight, then they have a 3-game cushion over Texas for playoff spot. So I think they're pretty much good, barring a disaster. I don't see that from the Red Sox. They're out without Roman Anthony. It really hurts. It'd be such a huge loss for them. But, again, tonight, they win tonight. I feel good about them making the playoffs. They lose tonight. They're still in a good position to make it, but, they leave that door open. It'd be 4 losses in a row. They'd be out of contention for the first wild card. So, if they win tonight, the first wild card's still in play. The Yankees' schedule the rest of the way is pretty easy. So you can say it's going to be tough to catch the Yankees. But again, the Red Sox hold the tiebreaker. So if they win tonight, game and a half back in New York, that first wild card's still in play, which again is huge because if it's Red Sox-Yankees first round, wild card round, you obviously much prefer to be at home versus on the road.
Yeah. That's what the Red Sox are. The Red Sox are looking to win this game against the Yankees, and
I know most of the country's gonna be watching the NFL game tonight, but this is a big baseball game. I mean, there's really a lot on the line tonight. So, we'll see what happens up at Fenway.
Yeah.
I'll say, tough to predict individual baseball games, but I'll say the Red Sox get it done tonight. I think Crochet will bring it. He'll have a really, really good performance. So I'll say Red Sox get it done, but you never know in baseball, and so far it's been a good weekend for New York, and it's been a tough weekend for Boston.
So is that where we want to get it? Is that where we want to end it?
Yeah, we'll wrap here. So we'll check out the game at Fenway tonight. What's the Sunday night game?
Minnesota Falcons.
Okay, not a great game, but I guess there's some intrigue there, but not a great one. And then tomorrow, is it 2 Monday night games tomorrow?
2 Monday night games, Bucks versus Texans, and then a game at 10 p.m. Which
I can't stand when they do that. I don't mind when they do one at 7 and 8. They're doing that in a couple of weeks. I know the Jets are playing.
I don't like that either. I mean, 2 games at the same time.
Well, I don't like that either, but just because on the East Coast, having a 10 o'clock game tomorrow night, I guess it's so late. At least if it's 7 and 8, I know the games are going up against one another. But for the East Coast fans, I mean, that's late as can be. So I don't like that. But whatever, you got a doubleheader tomorrow with the NFL.
Chargers Raiders, so
Yeah, I will not see one snap of that game, that's for sure. So
you got Baker, CJ Stroud on the early game, 7 p.m.
Yeah, I'll check that one out. That's an intriguing one with those 2 quarterbacks. So that's an interesting matchup tomorrow night. And then, like we said, we got the baseball. Mets have an off day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mets are off tomorrow. Yankees play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, next week's show, there's always a lot to talk about. But, again, we're in that time of year where it's crunch time in baseball. NFL's kicking off in full swing. And then I guess some point maybe later in the month or early next month, we'll dabble with some NBA as that season is not
far away. The Knicks have picked up Malcolm Brogdon in this week. They picked up Malcolm Brogdon, re-signed Landry Shamet. So, it's just some.
Yeah, what's training camp in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess maybe in a few weeks, we'll dabble with some NBA. That's not too far away, and then hockey as well. That's coming up soon too. So it's a great time of year for sports. And we're back season 2 talking about it all.
See you.